Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys Board Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And this Wednesday episode, like all of our Wednesday episodes recently, has been brought to you by Gray Fox Games. So
maybe we should start saying the date at the top of the episodes.
Oh, that would be an interesting one.
Not just Wednesday, but January
19th.
22nd. 22nd.
This is why
we
don't say that.
Precisely why we don't say the date.
Because we have to go 3 days out because you're not going to hear this.
I mean, we could do the this is another Wednesday episode recorded on January 19th or whatever.
We know they come out Wednesdays. We should just, pre-plan. That was off the cuff. I mean, just sounds better.
Which, we do off the cuff. So
we could even do the episode number, which is
episode 145, 75.
That's a whole lot of lost content.
This is why we don't do things.
Bare minimum. Today is a Wednesday.
Yeah, there you go.
This is an episode.
You remember when you're like, hey, let's just do games first before, and how it just fucked up Adrian the entire episode.
Yeah. It's a new year. We got to shuffle it up.
It's a new decade.
Hey, humans are creatures of habit, okay? Like, that's what we do. We get in habits, and we don't like to change out of those habits. And when you do change, there's chaos until the new habit is the new habit.
You just gotta be like Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act 2, Breaking the Habit, I want to say.
I have no idea what you're referencing. I know Sister Act and Sister Act 2.
I think it had.
Which is, the subtitle is Breaking the Habit.
Which is also like the hat thing that nuns wear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a joke that we need to be like Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act 2 and break the habit.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair.
It was a solid joke.
Sure. All those Sister Act 2 fans out there that really got that one.
It was just in the pocket, man.
Let's leave it in the pocket next time.
You wanted us to fucking change shit, so I was just like, all right, well, I'll just put out something I wasn't going to bring out.
We wanted to rummage around a little bit.
This is
why are we doing this again?
I don't know. All right, well, let's just get away from this by talking about board games.
Board games.
Yeah. How's that sound?
Sure. Let's talk about board games. So there was no Friday stream.
There was a Friday stream.
There was.
But just not by us.
No, there was not a Friday stream.
Oh, you didn't stream it. You recorded it?
We recorded it.
Oh, okay.
There was a Friday recording.
There was a Friday recording. So Mile High Dungeon Delvers did a hostile takeover, stripped everything out of the studio here, loaded it into Wes's car, and then carted it an hour through rush hour traffic to the far opposite corner of Denver, technically Aurora, where we did a Mile High Dungeon Delvers live show at Hexacon.
Which last year you did a live show, but you didn't record it, right?
No, we did record it, but that was all pre-stream stuff. We didn't have all the video.
Gotcha.
And that was back when my laptop worked, so it was a little bit easier to take a...
Did you use a laptop there, or they had a computer?
No.
You brought that
whole fucking thing.
Okay.
Like fucking everything, man.
Okay. All
right. The only thing I forgot was one mount for the boom arms. So I was going to use one of our older mics.
Nalgene bottle?
Didn't have one handy.
Maybe a goblet of some sort?
Yeah.
If only.
Really go back to the old days. No.
Yeah.
I ended up using the lapel mic, which worked. So it worked. We got a recording. I do not know yet what any of it sounds like. We're in a big empty room, and I think it sounded good. We have the recording of from Twitch, like we did I opened it, or I used XSplit, but I did a recording of the video with audio there, but I'm not sure. I think there may have been the same audio issue we're fighting here at the start of this stream, where for some reason right now the audio going into XSplit is like crazy low compared to the audio we're hearing and that Reaper's picking up for reasons. So luckily I did have a Reaper recording running, so I might just have to sync the Reaper audio with the Twitch audio and cut out the quiet Twitch audio. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to deal with all that like tomorrow. It's going to be fun.
I was talking with the designer of parks at PAX Unplugged.
Nice.
About starting up a podcast, because he was like, oh, I want to start up a podcast. And I was like, we started with no mic stands and mics in goblets and an Nalgene bottle. And he was like, well, now I want to start. I thought it was hard. I was like, no, you can get any two assholes together with mics in front of their face and start a podcast.
That's very true.
Yeah.
The whiter the people, the better. Because that's what we need more of.
Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
Yes.
Yes, if there's one thing that's underrepresented in board gaming podcasting, it's white males.
Yes.
Oh, God.
We're oppressed. No, not at all.
Oh.
Have you seen Watchmen?
But anyhow, yeah, so MHDD did a live stream at Hexacon. It's recorded. That will be broadcasting on Tuesday. I've got to get all of my all of that audio aligning done, but it'll be out. It was episode 2 of season 2, which is so far off to a roaring start. We went to a drag bar in the D&D universe, so that was fantastic.
Great.
And Clue is playing like a very rich, stuck-up sorority girl, and that is about one of the funniest juxtapositions between who I know someone is and the character they're playing, and it makes me very happy.
Who was it? Who was it?
Clue.
Clue. Oh, okay. I missed who you said did it.
Yeah, Clue.
Clue.
It wasn't a clue that you had to figure out.
No.
Yeah, our friend Clue is playing a very rich, snotty, stuck-up sorority girl, which is like the extreme opposite end of the spectrum of types of people you could be from who Clue is. So it's great. Having a lot of fun with it, and look forward to doing much, much more of that. So that's one of the things I have been playing, and that's why there wasn't a stream on Friday. Originally, there was still going to be a stream, but then there were a bunch of other issues, and Megan kind of was like, if you're not going to be here, I kind of just want to come home after a 12-hour shift and, be able to relax in my own home and not have to worry about other people around, which I think was code for I want to come home and just immediately walk in the door and ditch my scrubs. And so between that and all the issues, we just decided, all right, fuck it. We're not going to do a game.
Yeah.
You're going to get 2 weeks to do shit without me anyway. So
yeah.
Counting down the days.
I know. 9.
Yes. I figured that out earlier.
Actually, by the time you're listening to this, it'll be less than a week till I am on a jet plane.
On January 22nd.
Yes. There you go. See, we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Other than that, the only other things I really played this week was at game night on Wednesday. I played for the first time Marvel Champions.
Yes.
Correct. We did a 2-player game. I was Spider-Man because earlier that day I'd been sitting around watching Spider-Man Far From Home, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Or not Far From Home. Spider-Man.
Homecoming?
No.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
I had almost watched Far From Home, but I didn't have time.
Gotcha.
Anyhow, so I was Spider-Man, and you were
Black Panther?
Black Panther.
Yes, Black Panther. Yes.
And
Leadership Black Panther?
I was Leadership Black Panther, and you were Justice Spider-Man.
Yep.
Yellow and Spider-Man, blue and Black Panther.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a bunch of fun. I really enjoyed it.
You played against Claw,
who I thought we were going to get smoked. It was starting to get bad, and then we were able to salvage. It felt a lot like some of the games of Spirit Island I played, where it's it's steadily getting worse, and it's getting worse. And it's like, fuck, we can't control this. We can't control this. And it was like, all right, now we're getting control. Now we got this.
No, I'm noticing a trend of, especially because we played it 2 more times today,
Yes.
Jeff and I, of it seems the curve of this game, the difficulty is it gets a lot harder until you're able to finally build up everything you need, and then you can slowly and then eventually just crush them. But it's if you can make it to that point, basically.
Yes.
So,
but I liked it. I liked the way the deck construction portion, because you could build your own decks.
Yes.
And we didn't do that portion of it, but I looked through the deck and then playing through it. I can already see the ways that there's stuff to do about that. And then hearing Jeff talk a little bit about on Slack about doing a thicker Captain America
yes,
deck.
yeah.
That was you, Jeff. That
Yes,
was
it
talking
was.
about
Yes.
there. Okay. I think that all sounds really interesting. I don't think it's something I want to get into, especially since you guys all have stuff, but I'm super happy to play any of your decks anytime you need somebody to play with.
It's easier to play with multiple decks now, especially because we bought the new Ms. Marvel and Captain America decks that come with more basic cards.
Because each one of those decks are made to be played out of the out of the box, basically. Of you're supposed to just open it and be like, hey, you can just play it like this, and then it gives you a couple extra cards too.
Yeah.
Like 16
Yeah.
cards, like 3 copies of 4 new cards.
But a lot of LCGs, like a lot of those basic cards were ones that you wanted in a lot of decks, and you always felt constrained by the amount that came in the regular core set. So the fact that they were actually including a lot of them in this is really good, because almost every other living card game I've ever played has been like, all right, you can play it with 1 core set, but you want at least 2, maybe 3 to really make sure you can deck build everything you want.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like even fairly early on in Netrunner, which was my one time I've dabbled in true LCG deck construction.
Yeah.
Like right out the gate, they were like, yeah, get 2 core sets.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, well after I had been like, no, I'm tapping out, I'm done.
Yeah.
I think people were saying like, yeah, you kind of need 3 core sets.
Yeah.
So,
but it's nice. I haven't felt the need to get another one. So
good.
Yeah. And well, it's
Yeah. I mean, you can easily make 2 or 3, 2 out of the core set. And then
you can make 4 actually, like, because you can make, because there becomes with basically 4 of each of the basic cards.
Yeah.
Of their like pre-constructed decks of like, hey, here's how you can play 4-player out of the box, because there's 4 aspects, and you're not like super gint, but it's not like
ideal.
an ideal deck, right?
Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We played right next to Paul and Ryan.
Yes.
And we decided to do like kind of a competition. So they also played, well, they didn't play the same characters as us, but they did play the same Claw.
Yes, they did.
And they beat him much faster than we beat our Claw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then they were Iron Man and some Captain Marvel, maybe?
Yeah. And so they had like more damage-based stuff than we were able to focus on it with.
Yeah.
So we kept getting distracted by other shit that eventually we were able to take it out and then take him down. So we still won in the end, which was good.
Yes. They also have a heavy asterisk because I'm pretty sure at one point Ryan went, well, I just died. And then somehow they retconned it to where Ryan did not die.
They were also playing, that we found out in our game today,
that
the damage that an ally would take would overrun into the hero that they didn't block.
Oh.
Where
they do not.
The allies don't have a defense value because they just take it all.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So basically only the overkill like status keyword will let you go from an ally onto you, even by blocking.
Trample, let's say.
Yes, exactly. But normally you can just send like you find out someone's going to do like 7 damage to you. You could just be like, well, I'm just going to
Squirrel Girl here is going to take one to the chest.
Yeah. So asterisks on the positives and negatives.
Yes.
Sure.
So
2 asterisks.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Maybe like a green one and a red one. Like
yeah.
It's whether you go to the good place or the bad place.
Yes,
exactly. So other than that, I also played for the second time my new copy of Stockpile.
Yep.
We did a 4-player game of that.
With the investment strategies.
The investment strategies. So Stockpile, for those of you who don't know, is all about insider trading. You have your own investor card that gives you like a special power, and then you start with some stocks, and then you get forecast cards. It's like this company and its stock is going to do this, and you have that secret, and everybody gets a secret one, and then there's one face up on the board that everybody can see, and then depending on the number of players, there might be some more that are hidden from everyone. And then based on those, you get some stocks from the pile, and you put them into these little rows where everybody is going to be able to bid on them. And you bid on them, and then you get them and you add them to your portfolio. And you're trying to get stocks that you think are going to do well and get rid of ones that aren't. And key that you sell before you resolve the stocks, which is something we made a mistake about a long, long time ago. You can listen to our review to hear all about that. But the investment strategies add a new phase during the action round. So you get basically one more investment strategy than there are rounds in the game you're playing in. And during that action phase, you can play one investment strategy, and they're basically just actions. Mm-hmm. They do different things. Like a really basic one would be a free one, and it is move any one stock up or down one space. Another one might cost like $2,000, and it's move 2 different stocks up or down one. And then like a really expensive one that I had that I never got to play was sell 3 stocks at $8,000 a piece. It's like if you know your stock's about to tank, or your stock did tank last round and you happen to get some of one that's really low and it's going to crash, and you're like, well, instead of selling these 3 for $1,000, I can spend $5,000 and now sell them each for $8 and make, significantly more money.
Yep.
So there's just a bunch of stuff like that that manipulate the stocks or give you opportunities to buy or sell at different amounts than normal. Some of them let you pull stocks out of the discard pile and put them directly into your hand. I think there's one that let you like just split something over.
Yes. There's like you split or exchange, or it will like you flip your forecast over so everyone else can see it, but then you get money for it.
Yeah, like $10,000.
Yeah.
A huge amount of money. It's a great one when it's like, oh yeah, this company that just crashed last round and nobody has is going to pay dividends.
Yeah.
Here you go, guys. You can all see that this company that none of us have is paying dividends.
Yep. Money, please.
Money, please. It was really good. I had a lot of fun with it. I won.
Yep.
Megan was a close second. And Zach was a very, very, very distant.
My problem is that I heavily invested in leading laboratories, and then it tanked, and I had to sell 4 split stocks at like a third of the price that I wanted to, and then I wasn't able to, like at the last round I had 3 stocks and like everybody else had like 7 or 8, and I was just like, God damn it.
Yeah. It was rough.
Is it because people bombed the labs, or
no, it just got unlucky.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot, even with the investment strategies that let people manipulate stocks, it was more people used them to benefit themselves rather than hurt other people.
Fair.
There was one time I did make leading labs go down another 2. It was like one where it was still pretty high and we could see that it was going down 3. So I knew Zach was going to be selling everything. And I was like, I'm going to make that go down 2 spots.
Like, God damn it. Yep.
Suck on this, nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Fuck you and your science.
That's all that I have played recently.
Well, I remember because we talked at the end of it what did you think of the investment strategies themselves?
Yeah, so I like them, but I don't think they add much to the game.
I felt like they didn't add enough to the game to justify the increased length of the game, because instead of someone doing like maybe one person has 1 action a turn, and then maybe like a card. So it's like maybe 2 actions a turn. Everybody had their own action and then other actions too. And you're trying to figure out, oh, do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? And so it just felt like it drug it down. It just lengthened the game more.
Yeah.
I did like how you had to make sure you had enough money to be able to get the cards.
Yeah.
Because they, like you said, they cost like, some of them cost $4,000 to $5,000. And if you're like, oh, I really want this stockpile, but if I get it at like, if I, say you bid 10,000, I'm like, well, I have to spend 15 to get it, but I only have $18,000. That means I can't play the thing I wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
And so it did add some interesting decisions through that, but it just like you said, a lot of those decisions weren't that interesting to like, for me, oh, you sold something for, for more money or whatever, man, whatever. That doesn't, it affect me that much. So
yeah. Like I said, I liked him, and I think I would play with him occasionally, but for the most part, I didn't feel there felt isn't a right conjugation of that in any sense.
Conjugate the verb.
Anyway, I did not feel, and I do not currently feel that they add much.
Yes.
It's more or less just something like if you're starting to get bored with it and you want to spice it up for one game at the expense of it being a longer game, go for it.
Yeah.
It adds a little bit more uncertainty because people can fuck with the market a little bit more during that action phase, but I don't think it's enough even if like a really concentrated effort of like 3 people could tank 1 stock.
Yeah.
But it's not usually going to be that.
Yeah. But it did add new investors too, which were pretty good.
Yeah.
So they added just new ability things that seemed interesting. Like Megan's was Forecast Fill,
which he didn't come from.
Oh, he was a promo one.
He was one of the other. He came in one of the other packs. He wasn't part of the investment strategies pack.
Yeah. So it was the promo pack for the Kickstarter. But like his was at the beginning of each round, she could choose a stock or a forecast die of like what it's going to do. And like she gets that one. We don't get to see which one it is other than which type.
Yeah.
But like if she had like say she had a lot of bleeding laboratory, she could be like, I'm gonna grab bleeding laboratory so I won't know what's gonna happen with them.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty cool ability, I thought.
Yeah. So basically, she would get all 6 company cards and all 6 forecast cards, and then she would pick one, and we'd know whether she took a forecast or a company, but not which one. And then everything else would get dealt out the same.
Yeah. Or like something goes up 5, she'd be like, well, I want to know what's going up 5.
Yeah.
So
Or vice versa, like something's going to crash hard. Like, okay, I want to know what that is so I know to get out of it.
exactly.
It seemed like a really interesting
Yeah.
one, but she didn't feel that it was that powerful in the long run.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's Stockpile. And before that was Marvel Champions, the 2 things I played this week.
Yep.
So, what about you, Jeff? What have you been playing?
I played a lot of Marvel Champions.
How about this? Talk about God of War.
I'm going to start at God of War.
Good. And then we will just
Circle back
continue.
around.
Circle back around.
Yes, okay.
So Paul and I, I played 2 games, God of War and Set and Match. I'll start with God of War, go to Set and Match.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
The tennis game. Yeah.
Yeah. Got a full game in of the God of War card game.
Not just the one round like we did.
No. And we got 2 rounds in on the first one because we died. Yeah, getting to see the whole game and how it goes with the different tableaus was interesting. They all had sort of different mechanics to it. In the first one, we had a guy that would attack that had armor. They all had armor. One guy would attack, and then he'd flip over to kind of like his attack mode, and then he'd flip back over to his defense mode.
Uh-huh.
You couldn't damage him during defense, so you had to damage him during his attack. And the first game that we lost, we weren't playing that correctly, where we weren't flipping him when he was attacking.
Oh, gotcha.
So he just always had infinite armor.
Oh no.
Jesus.
Yeah. So we restarted. The other guy, you had to do like 2 big hits on. He had 15 armor, which meant you had to do an attack worth 15
Right.
to break his first armor, attack of 10 to break his second, and then you could start damaging his life. But there was these little runes, so you like inspected areas on the tableau.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got the 3 runes, it would open up a chest that gave you a +2 to your hand size for the rest of the quest.
Oh, nice.
That's
So
pretty sweet.
that let you get the easier to get a 15 because you
Right.
would be drawing 9 cards instead of 7. But it still took us a little while. But we had at that point like enough defense. But that one went long enough to where we were able to draft more into our decks, because you bring those decks into the next rounds, that we had some pretty decent decks that we just smashed through the second scenario.
Nice.
Which you had to like an ogre that had like 35 health, but you had to get him down to 20, and then you had to discard some cards to start riding him, and you had to use the ogre to defeat the other enemies on the board. When we tried to defeat them, they would flip over and be like, get a bonus and kill the enemy. Unless you defeat it with the ogre, then just flip the enemy back over. And they would just immediately respawn. And then we did a final boss. We did one, the
Valkyrie?
The Valkyrie
Queen.
Yes. Who was very difficult at 2-player. I don't think I would play this game at 2-player. It would need to be at least 3 or 4 from here on out.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of in this specific scenario, you can discard attack and ranged melee and ranged attack cards to cancel out her attacks. She drew 3 of her attack in a row, which did 3 damage each, which instantaneously killed me. There was nothing I could do about it because you cannot defend against it. All you can do is discard those cards. And with more players, you'd have a bigger pool of cards to discard, but in 2-player, you just don't have that.
Gotcha.
And we just got unlucky with how that came out, and I was dead round 1. And it was just Paul soloing the rest of the scenario until it got to the end, and it did like some absolutely massive attack, and he just got annihilated.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
He went through but it was cool. It went from like various phases. Like it went through like 3 phases, and we had to do more damage to the wings. And then there was these little parts in the sides that was doing like 10 to each of the wings, because they had like 50 health each.
Oh, damn.
It was neat, but it was not great at 2-player with that, and just being absolutely annihilated with nothing you can do except have more card access.
Yeah.
And in this scenario, you even have -1 card draw. So we only had 6 cards each instead of 7.
Just be better, Jeff. That's all. That's
Yeah,
what needed
yeah,
to
yeah.
be
That's
had.
what I'm understanding.
Yeah.
But I want to play it again. It was fun.
Okay.
I like it. I continue to like the God of War card game.
Right on.
Nice.
Next up is an even cooler game that Paul purchased called Set and Match.
That he had to twist your fucking arm to get you to
Yes.
play. So it's good
Well,
to hear that you liked it so much.
I was waiting for a friend that was supposed to show up because she's been wanting to come to game night for weeks. And I was like, and she had come like years ago and no one wanted to play games with her. And so it was just her and her friend playing games. And then she never wanted to come again. I was like, come back, I'll play games with you. So I was sitting there waiting. And then her and her friend went and got ice cream and got lazy and just didn't go and didn't text me. And so I had to be like, hey, are you coming? And then she's like, no. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go fucking play a game. But then she bought me wings. So that was fine.
There you go.
So we played Set and Match, which,
Flicky tennis game.
flicky tennis game.
We originally played it at BGG Con, and he wanted to. Paul wanted to buy that game because they were selling it. Fun Again Games was they bring stuff from Essen over to BGG and they sell it at a premium. But it's like, hey, you can get it now. Except the one they sold was like just on like a regular board and not the nice mat that it came with.
Like, neoprene play mat.
Yeah, and so
Which on a board that would seem hard because you flick so much of this game. If you hit any of those edges or folds, that would totally fuck up this game.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the actual board looks like. But
I didn't
The
see
mat
it,
is
yeah.
way better.
Yes, it is.
I also wonder too, like if it was a board, like the repeated disc, like sliding back and forth would probably wear your board too.
Probably. But I know he talked with Ofer in Slack about getting this from Germany because you could order the deluxe edition.
France.
Okay.
It is a French game.
Gotcha.
It is in French language.
Oh, okay. There you go.
But I don't know if it is from
Gotcha.
France. I would assume so.
Gotcha. And then so Paul finally got it. And so I know he had been wanting to try it out. And so he got you to play it.
Yes. So it is a full-on just fucking tennis game. Like it has all the same rules. Well, you can play with advanced rules that give you kind of like weird trick shots and stuff that they would do in tennis or difficult shots to be able to rally back and forth in. So you have to serve into like that opposite square just behind the net, just like a tennis game. Serving is hard. You get 2 shots. And I just could never get the serve down. And I think I gave...
Well, I want to give context to it. You both were just sitting down at a table that could barely fit it.
So we didn't actually have enough space behind, so we had to serve from the line instead of behind the line. But it was really hard to get exactly in that box each time. So I gave Paul
At
entire
least,
matches on because if you know how tennis works, you have points. That's the 15, 30, 40 advantage, and then you give them the match, and then you play like games until someone wins 2 more games than the other person. Because we went back and forth. We hit 3, and then he'd go to 4, and I'd go to 4, and then he'd go to 5, and I'd go to 5, and then he got 6, 7. So, and that's when those tennis games take forever.
Yeah.
So we started that up actually at the end of the game. So once you start rallying back and forth, there's all of these triangles and squares that if the ball hits that area, that you get a certain amount of score. There is
It's basically a tug of war.
It's a tug of war with like 3 on each side. So if you get your serve on the first hit using the advanced rules, you get +1 to the score in that box. So even if you hit 0, you get a 1. Because usually tennis players put all their power into their first serve to try and ace it. Which there is even like ace spots on there. If you hit these very small areas, it's an immediate point. If you get it on your second one, you don't get the +1, but then you rally it back and forth. But if you get it on an edge, the edges always have like 1, 2, or 3 points in it. Like 3 is in the very far back corner. But if you hit edge to opposite edge on the other side, you get a +1. Or if you hit it from like the back line to just over the net, you get a +1. Or if you hit it just over the net, it's like a net shot and you get a +1. So it's taking all of these shot advantages in to try and get that score, tug of war, to get the point. And then it's just, you play a bunch of matches and then you play games like in tennis.
Game,
so
set, match.
Yeah, game, set, match. And it takes like 40-ish minutes or so. But it was fun the whole time. But I could not tune in the fucking serving. Like, sometimes I'd get it, but like for the vast majority, it was way off.
Yeah, it looked there for a while like you were both kind of struggling. When I was watching early,
Right.
you were both struggling hard with serving. But then once somebody got a serve to stick, you'd kind of...
Then we went back and forth.
Yeah.
Until someone hit the net or something, and
Uh-huh.
or didn't hit it hard enough, or hit it way too hard.
Did anybody knock it off?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, all
Yes. we both hit it way too hard on multiple occasions. It is a very nice mat that has a good texture for this game, to where you have to be delicate but not too delicate, hard but not too hard. So it was a fun game.
Cool.
And you can play. Apparently, you can play
Doubles?
Doubles.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know how the doubles rules work, but it comes with 2 to 4 players. So
Okay.
I don't think there's 3
Two
player
people
tennis.
have to hit it at once.
2 rackets.
Yep.
Yes, that's how tennis
That's
works.
how it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get twice the power with it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hate it so much.
Yeah. So once we started playing with the advanced rules that gave all of those advantages to your score in the tug of war based on where you hit and how you hit it, the game became much more interesting. And I don't think I would play without the advanced rules, besides like a practice round for
That's
new
good,
people.
because when we played it at BGG, we didn't end up using it. So it's good to hear that.
Yeah, because you want to hit specific areas from specific areas. It gives you something more to aim at instead of just like, I'm going to go for the closest to.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because on a serve, besides acing, you can get 3 points, which would normally give you or 3 score, which would give you the match. But on a serve with that, it won't win you the game. But so it lets them come back. But if they got another point or another score, I keep calling it points because the points are the match. They can't win on that, but it puts you at like a extreme advantage to where you're 3 to nothing on the tug of war.
So assuming like if they hit a 0 to you, then would you win that way, or at what point would it?
I think they have to actually hit a point.
Okay.
Or a score.
That makes sense. Yeah. No, because then if they hit a 0, then you could just
Yeah, and then it gives you a chance. But
yeah.
Get the French version because it comes with the mat. Don't get the apparently not great other version.
Okay.
All right.
Game, set, match.
Yes. Set and match.
Set and match.
Yes.
Sorry. Zach, what about you? What have you been playing?
Marvel Champions. That was Stockpile, and then Marvel Champions, and then Marvel Champions, and Marvel Champions.
So we're just going to talk about Marvel Champions some more.
Yes, but we're gonna be talking about. So we got our new characters. These are the ones that we wanted to play on the stream, but we couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
We both got Miss Marvel and Captain America.
And the Green Goblin scenario pack.
Yes,
Which we were informed by Boyd on Slack that Barnes & Noble got it back in stock. So I immediately went to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same here. And so this time, so we couldn't play on Friday, and so before we saw Bad Boys for Life today, but before that we're like, hey, let's go play
Marvel Champions
before it. And so we're like, hey, there's 2 Green Goblin scenarios. Let's play the first one, which was like risky business. And so this one had
Tom Cruise.
If only, but it had Norman Osborn as his alter ego, and so he actually would you couldn't really damage him until you got him to pull out his Green Goblin mask,
His
right?
villain side.
Yeah.
So he has 2 cards. He has his like a hero card. He has his alter ego and then his villain side. But then he has it
was called an environment.
Yes, an environment card, which he had his criminal enterprises while he was Norman Osborn, and then he had madness or
yes. So the criminal enterprise is when you would damage him, you are damaging the the enterprise instead.
Because you can't go punch Norman Osborn in the face.
Yeah,
It'd be so much easier if you could.
I know, right? Yeah,
he's a highfalutin businessman.
Yeah. I mean, I was Ms. Marvel, so she has huge fists. It would have been amazing.
Yes.
But so you do enough damage to his criminal enterprise, and then he flips out and comes and attacks you.
Turns into the Green Goblin.
Yes, and then eventually, he will. Instead, he can't scheme as Green Goblin. He can only attack. So when he would scheme, which is if you're in your alter ego form, then he will just remove tokens from this madness card, and eventually he calms down and then becomes Norman again.
Okay.
So you can only damage him in the Green Goblin, but he does a lot of damage when he's in. So you want to be attack. All right, we need to back off for a second, heal up, and then he will fix himself. And then okay, now we have to do this damage to get him to switch again. It was this cool balancing act you had to deal with.
Something that he did a lot more than I've seen in any of the other scenarios I've played. He did indirect damage, which is basically a splash damage. He does 4 indirect damage. That means you can split up that 4 damage however you want to all of your characters, unless it can kill them. so they can only take like one less than.
No. I kept trying to tell you this, is that it can kill them. It just can't do more damage to them than would kill them.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
So you can't put.
You can't absorb any extra with somebody.
Yes.
Yeah. So if they had
Squirrel
one,
Girl can't take all 4 to the chest.
yeah,
if she's only got
she has 2 health.
Yeah.
Yeah, then
Yes.
she could take 2 damage, but then that's it.
Yes. Which was very effective against me, who was playing a ally heavy Captain America deck that has a bunch of allies that were all taking a bunch of this indirect damage.
Yeah.
And they only have 2 or 3 health, so they take a damage every time they do an action. So every time they're taking damage is one less action that they can even do.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen any cards that heal anything yet either.
There was one in the Spidey deck.
Yeah, protection has some healing stuff. First aid is a heal card that you can use.
Oh, yeah. First aid.
Yes.
I haven't seen it in any decks I've played recently.
The ones that you made, you're like, fuck this first aid.
Maybe Iron Man has a first aid in there. I don't know.
No, more
Captain
often.
America sure doesn't.
Yeah. More often than not, the time, like in my Miss Marvel deck, I had first aid. I had med kit or med team too that can heal people, but more often than not, I was like, it costs 3 to put this down. I would like to use it as just the one resource to go attack again or to thwart or something like that. And so I ended up not healing most of the time.
and Steve Rogers was really good at just healing himself, so I didn't really have any need for for specific heal cards.
Yeah.
And I had ways to get all of my allies out of the discard all the time, anyways.
And his Steve Rogers or Captain America's ability, the I could do this all day, can let him. You can just discard a card, right, and then you can ready him.
Yep.
Yeah, so you can always like attack. I can do this all day
And attack again.
Attack again, but then you can't do it because you can only do it once around.
Then the day ends.
Yeah, then the day ends,
and then you can't do it all day. It's night now.
I could do this all day. Oh man, but look at the time.
The sun's set.
Sun's getting real low, big guy.
Ms. Marvel had a cool ability. Hers is that whenever you use an event that lets you attack, thwart, or defend, then you can tap her to pull it back. So a lot of her bigger attacks and specialty cards are like, she's very event heavy in that regard. That like you'll attack it and then you can tap it and then get it back. And so like one of her defense cards is a 0 cost, and so I can play it for 0, basically reduce the damage by 3, draw a card, and then I'll tap her. I got it again. Oh, you're gonna attack me again? Well, I'll just dodge it again. So there was a lot of cool manipulation in each of our decks that I was enjoying that felt different than a lot of the other ones that we had played. So
cool.
They made good use of Captain America's shield.
Yeah.
One of the cool things is in Steve Rogers' setup is that you pull the shield from your deck no matter what. So you always start with your shield.
Oh, okay.
Because when I was starting to build the deck, I was like, what if I don't get my shield for a long time? And then they have clearly made sure that you would start with Captain America's fucking shield.
Yeah, he's not going to be like, oh man, where is it? It's just did I put it in my game room or is it under the bed?
Because a lot of his cards are very powerful that are based off of, hey, I have this invulnerable shield that makes it really easy to not take damage because he gets a +1 passive defense and a retaliate. Every time somebody attacks him, he just does a damage to him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And it's the first time it's had
restricted
keyword on it where I haven't seen any other cards that use it, but you are restricted to 2 restricted items per hero.
So it's probably like really like Mjolnir.
Yeah, like very iconic items like that will be
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Limited.
Cool.
But I did it. So Captain America is very ally heavy. So I had a ton of Avengers in there: Hawkeye, Vision, Squirrel Girl, Wonder Man, and
Agent 13. Well, that's part of his deck, but yeah.
Yeah, and I think I had one more in there.
Well, and he also had a bunch of cards that are like basically temporary Avengers.
So I could turn anyone into Avengers. I could turn other heroes into Avengers. I could turn like Ms. Marvel into an Avenger.
It just gives you like +1 hero, but I just like it reminds me of like in Infinity War when he's just like Tony Stark just does that to Spider-Man. It's like,
yes,
all right, you're an Avenger now.
Yeah. But it gives that ally a +1 hit point. But it could also let me turn any allies that aren't Avengers into Avengers because I have Avengers Assemble that gives them +1 attack, +1 thwart, and readies all of them, which is how I did like 16 damage or 14 damage in one turn because I had 5 Avengers out because you're normally limited to 3 allies, but Avengers Tower, if all of your allies have the Avengers keyword, gives you a +1 ally. And then I had the Triskelion, which is the shield headquarters, which gives you another additional ally. So I could have 5 allies out who were all Avengers and assembled the shit out of Green Goblin.
Yes, they did.
In the first game, the Vision showed up on the bottom of my deck, but then I can get rid of a certain resource and he does +2 damage. So he did 4 damage. And then I readied him up again, and then he did 4 damage, and then I readied him up again, and then he did 4 damage. And basically, he wiped out the Green Goblin by himself.
Which makes sense.
Because he's the Vision versus the fucking Green Goblin. He just phases through his chest and pulls his heart out. Yeah.
Cool.
But that was the first one. But we finally got a chance to play it with 3-player after the movie.
Yes.
And that takes a while.
Yeah, Paul was playing Black
That
Panther.
is the entire
with us.
reason that the stream and recording started late.
Yes.
Yes. It's basically let's add 50% more time to this game. It is the same game and is as enjoyable, but as time goes on, that enjoyment level does start to taper off.
Yeah, because as you start to get your engine, built and all of your upgrades and stuff needed, you're like your turns start to get a little complicated. It's like, oh, I got to do this, and you're like, okay, well, Jeff did that. And now Paul has to do that too. Then I can go.
Yes.
And so I think 2-player is still going to be my preferred way of playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we played the second Green Goblin scenario where he's turning civilians into goblins.
The mutagen formula.
Yeah. And so we just had a ton of minions on us the whole time. And so we weren't really damaging the boss. We were just damaging all these big minions.
And then there was a lot of little minions too that they had guard though, that you're like, you have to attack them and kill them before you can attack the Green Goblin. So
my first turn was great. I did the shield toss, which I have to discard like X cards, and then I can do X damage. I do 4 damage to X enemies. So I discarded 3 cards and did 4 damage to all 3 enemies that were on us. And I was like, bing, bing, bing. My turn's done. All those are gone. And they're like, what? And then at the end of their turns, it's like, Jeff, you didn't play any cards this turn. It was literally just my hero card because I had to throw the shield. The shield goes back into my hand.
Yep.
And I have less cards than I started with.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I killed all those things.
Yeah.
But man, there was a lot more of those things.
Yes, they were.
Ugh.
But this one, once again, like you were saying, it was definitely getting worse. There was one point where I was at 1 health. At one point, he had a card, Intimidation, where he could attack your alter ego. And I was like, oh, no.
Oh, no.
And I ended up with 1 health. And I was like, oh, thank God. And then, but it got close. And like I said, we eventually got everything built. And then Paul was playing Black Panther Justice.
Okay.
Which was good that he kept thwarting the ever-loving shit out of him.
Yeah. It seemed like we were just on damage control for a long time.
Yeah.
Because there was just so many minions that you had to deal with.
Okay.
Until I got all my allies out. And then I had 2 turns in a row of Avengers Assemble.
They assembled.
Oh, yeah. They assembled the shit out of Green Goblin.
Yep. Yeah.
Right on.
It was good.
Still haven't done any expert modes, but...
I did it once, but we didn't play with... Apparently, there's like 3 expert encounter cards that you're supposed to add in there too, which I didn't.
Yeah.
So, but...
And I had the first time that my Nemesis came up as well.
Okay.
Baron Zemo?
Yep.
Who... When he's engaged with you, you can't thwart at all.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So you just punch him in the face.
Yeah. Fuck you, Zemo.
Yep.
As everyone knows, Baron Zemo is the guy that Captain America was fighting, that he had to stop the rocket that sent him into the ice that froze him for many years.
Not in the movies.
Okay.
Movies, no.
I was gonna say, because wasn't Zemo in the movies the guy who sparked Civil War?
He was
Yes.
that was a very different storyline as well.
Okay.
But Zemo was the guy.
They did a good job with it, but yeah.
Yes, they did. But Zemo was the original guy that was the reason that Captain America got froze.
Okay.
Because those comics existed back in
Yes.
the Nazi times.
Yes.
And then he went away for a while in real time. And then when he came back, that was the reason that they came up for him to be like gone for that amount of time.
But still be him.
But still be him, yes.
Frozen in ice. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Stan Lee has had some good ideas over the years.
Yeah.
Right on. So this was like your Marvel Champions episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like
we got into it.
Yeah.
you could do this all day,
Yeah.
maybe.
Once.
And did.
You can do it all day once. Yeah.
Right on. So that's what we've been playing. So now we can do a little bit of banter.
Yeah.
This is still a little bit of a weird format for me, so
It's
I
fine.
don't know how to transition back to banter.
But Bad Boys, we saw that.
Yes.
I watched the first two because, like we said, I just never watched them as I was growing up, and so
Weird.
yeah.
Wait, you watched the second one today?
Yes,
So you spent 4 hours watching a Bad Boys movie?
yes, I
That
did.
movie is so long.
That is, yeah. I opened the first one is like what, an hour and 50 or something like that, and it was like 2.5 hours. I'm like, why the
Yeah.
fuck is this movie 2.5 hours long?
They still got to go to Cuba.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was like, God damn it. So I just didn't really enjoy the first one, but the second one I did enjoy in that like Michael Bay way. Like it felt like
Yeah.
he got a lot of that like ironed down. There were definitely a lot of funny moments like with Reggie and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And so I was like, okay, I think as long as it's like this one, I'm okay with that.
And it sure was.
It sure was.
Yep.
It was definitely enjoyable in what you would expect Bad Boys for Life to be.
It was a very enjoyable movie.
It has made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Will Smith and Martin Lawrence have great chemistry together.
Yeah.
Just having them just yelling at each other. I'm like, I could do this all day.
Martin Lawrence seems to have not slowed down at all.
Yeah.
Like he's still totally on it for not being in anything that I've been aware of for when did Bad Boys 2 come out?
2003, 2005. No,
Okay.
2003, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I don't know what
16,
Martin Lawrence
17
has been
years?
doing for the last
17 years. Getting all those Martin
Yeah.
royalties.
Yep.
Right on.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of interest in seeing it, but
good.
maybe I will. Maybe you'll go watch dumb action movies.
I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
There's a lot of funny, like, yeah.
It is pretty funny.
Yeah.
The problem is I don't know who I'll see it with now. I
Gotcha.
don't really feel like going by myself, and
Uh,
all of you went and watched it.
That's
so.
true.
I think Ant liked it a lot. I just remember him scoffing in the distance,
Yeah.
like 2 seats down from me.
Oh no, there was when they had like it was just some sort of like camera angle thing that was like a drone and they're like zoom in and then like the camera like
Oh,
clearly
yeah.
panned in a way that was like you couldn't do it in a drone.
Also, that drone must have been real quiet.
Yeah, it was.
It's like, let's go into this auto shop where the gun deal's happening and have it like 20 feet away, like through like
Yeah.
through the curtains, those plastic curtain things, you
Yeah.
know? Not that it would be going.
Oh.
Yeah.
It had a machine gun on it later.
It did. It did.
There was
Great.
a motorcycle chase. Those motocross
Yes.
gangsters
Yep.
in Miami, man. They
Yeah.
were all over the place.
Those
Yeah.
guys.
Yep.
Speaking of movies, we did also all go see 1917.
Which was very good.
yes.
I was gonna be like, it was also very good. I was like, no, it was a lot better than
Completely different type of
yes.
movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Both technically vaguely action,
Yes.
but much more serious action in
Uh-huh.
1917.
Yes.
I really liked it. I don't remember who I was talking to. They were saying, I think, it was Paul on the way to game night. He was saying that he got a little distracted during the movie because of the whole, like, it's supposed to be like one continuous take. And so he was looking for all of the cuts.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh no, it's not. So it's filmed in a way that is to make
Yeah.
it look that way, but it is 100% not that.
obviously.
No, I know, but I mean like I don't mean like oh there were like 4 cuts. I mean like I can't back up this quote that I heard. I don't remember where it is. I would have to find it, but it was like the longest cut was like 5 minutes or something like that. So it was like there was
Okay.
a lot more like in there than I was expecting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can definitely see because I know at least one other person was just like, yeah, as soon as they tried to beat it, like, you kept trying to be like, where are they hiding behind a rock or someone walks in front of the frame?
There was a couple real
Yes,
obvious
yes,
ones,
there were.
but I didn't notice
Yeah.
any more than those.
No, I think it worked in the movie's favor a lot by doing that.
Yes.
It was very good.
Yeah.
There's a scene where like the song that they play in the trailer that's like kind of like a mournful funeral dirge. I don't know how to really describe it. They have somebody sing that like in one of the scenes there.
Uh-huh.
and I was pretty close to just openly weeping.
Yeah.
It was getting late in the movie. Things had happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There were feelings.
That movie is stressful.
It is. It is completely anxiety inducing, but a different way than Uncut Gems was. That one was just like everyone's just yelling at each other, and you're just like, oh God, please stop. But this one is very much like, because because it's one continuous. It's all in real time. Anytime they're doing something, like, it's not like the movie cuts to them moving, just into, like, they're in the thing. It's like, oh, here's another set piece. Like, anything could be a set piece in here. You're like, they're going over a hill. You're just like, oh God,
or like kind of craning to like see over the hill.
Yeah.
Trying to look around the corner.
Yeah. You're like, oh, here's an abandoned thing. It could be nothing, or there could be enemies here. Oh my God.
And it's super quiet, and then it's super not, and then it's super quiet again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I feel like, obviously I've never fought in any war, let alone like a world war, but I feel like that's got to be kind of that feeling that some of those people had. Like, on a mission like that, you would be like, when am I going to die?
Yeah.
Like, when am I going to turn a corner and there's somebody there ready to kill me?
But not just that too, but the fact that you have to face that, and then if you do survive, you have to be like, okay, now do it again. You're like, oh, God damn it.
Another 10 feet, do it again.
Like, just their march, over no man's land is just like, that was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And the camera is always centered on them, but there's so much more on the sides of all of these shots that I don't give a shit about what they're doing. I'm just looking to the left and right and just seeing this scene of horror that they walk through.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really good.
It was real good. If you see it in a movie theater, and see it in like the biggest one you can find.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the best sound.
Yeah. I was reading a little bit about how Sam Mendes, the director, it's based loosely on a story his grandfather told them growing up. His grandfather fought in World War I for the British, and apparently there was a point where like 4 companies had gotten out of contact, and somehow his grandfather got voluntold to like try and reestablish communications, and like so he was crawling back and forth across no man's land trying to get to these different separated companies, and was like just constant, like he was getting shot at, and like he said like one of the quotes, like, from, apparently his grandpa wrote a book too, but like a memoir, but one of the quotes is like, he's like, yeah, I feel like the enemy snipers must have taken pity on me being a lone man trying to scramble back and forth, and so they were missing me intentionally. It was like, probably not.
Who was the guy? Who was the lieutenant guy that was in the trench?
So that the actor. That's Andrew Scott.
Yes, he was very good.
So I'll just go ahead.
So which guy in which trench?
The first one.
I'll just say this. Anybody that's like supposed to be an important person in this movie is a famous person.
That sort of gives you, like, you recognize how they would recognize an officer.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's that person. I should recognize that because there's some captain or general, and it gives the viewer that sort of feel of how they look at officers. Yeah.
So which guy specifically are you talking about?
Right
before they go over?
Yes.
Yeah, before No Man's Land.
Yeah.
Where he gives them the flare gun. And
Okay.
Basically, right after they give him the order.
So who was he?
He's Andrew Scott.
Who is that?
I don't think you would know him. But he was in Sherlock. If you ever saw that, he was Moriarty.
He was Moriarty. Yes, that's what I recognized him from. All of the Sherlock.
The BBC.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, not the Robert Downey Jr. movie.
I knew it wasn't that one, but I was trying to think if there was another one that I was maybe missing or something.
We just needed Bilbo.
Right. Apparently, I didn't recognize him. One of the 2 main actors was fucking Tommen in Game of Thrones.
I saw that too. Yeah.
I was like, what the shit?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. All right.
Apparently, Tommen died that far back that he's turned into an adult.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
There's a couple of Game of Thrones actors in this, actually.
Apparently, Game of Thrones just also snapped up all the reasonably good.
How many actors with accents can we find?
Yeah.
Cool. So that's the movie update for our banter. I'm going snowboarding the next couple days. So by the time you're listening to this, I'll be back in Denver. But doing a little bit of snowboarding, and then Japan. And as of the time of listening to this on Wednesday when this releases, less than a week. Week.
To the J-Pans.
The J-Pow. We have all our lodging booked now. I booked the last of it this weekend. We're staying in some interesting places in Tokyo. We're staying in a cool place when we're in Hokkaido. We'll get to see the Sapporo Ice Festival. Snow totals are a little bit down from like averages. Like the northern mountain we're going to that was supposed to be like the best mountain is 65 centimeters below average, which is roughly 2 feet, which isn't a ton, but still it's like, like when you look at the graph, it's like the last 6 years are all like this, and this year's like was following them, and then all of a sudden was like, no.
It's like we're good.
"Nah." It's to the point where I'm like, maybe they just stopped. Maybe whoever sent the updates to this website lost their job, and so they just haven't been getting updates. But a snowboarder I follow on YouTube just got to Japan like 4 days ago, and he's been doing like daily videos, and the snow still looks amazing. So I was worried, and then I saw that, and I'm like, okay, good. I'll still be able to have fun.
It's just all ice when you get
Pure ice. Did you bring your skates?
No. But I do have a new board with really good edges,
There you
so
go.
I'll be
Just ride that
set
edge.
there.
Why buy the whole board when you only need the edge?
But yeah, super looking forward to all of that stuff. I've recently learned about the robot cafe in Tokyo.
Yeah.
That is apparently
How did
like
you just find out
I
about
don't
that?
know. Because it's not something that I would normally find out about.
Apparently, it's one of those places where the food's not great, but the entertainment is fantastic.
Oh, I'm
They
sure.
give you like a like bento box basically.
Yeah.
Like everything I've seen says if you go, prepare to eat after or before.
Yes.
But so I'm gonna see. It might be too late now to get tickets. But
Uh,
I'm gonna see if I can get some tickets to that, just because it seems ridiculous.
you can see a neon tank.
Yeah, a ridiculous neon tank. I saw a picture of it. But yeah, looking forward to that. Megan and I don't plan usually a whole lot of stuff ahead of time. We like to just kind of get in and be like, what seems interesting? Let's go do that.
Just get a lot of street food.
And that's one thing definitely we're gonna spend like a whole day at the Tsukiji fish market.
Nice.
Which they don't have the like auctions anymore for the tuna, which would have been kind of cool. Or they do have them, but they're closed to the public now. But there is still just apparently a shit ton of great seafood down there. We have reservations at an all-you-can-eat A5 Wagyu steak
Nice.
joint. Yeah. So super looking forward to that. Like, yeah, all kinds of great food. So Japan's gonna be fun. I'll do one more Wednesday episode before Japan.
Yes.
So I'll do next week's, but then I'll be in Japan. So that's the Japan update. I'm getting really excited. I know I don't talk about trips at all, ever. So
No. It was rude for you to just spring this up on us.
oh yeah, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
I know you didn't know that I was going to Japan,
Yeah.
but I'm going to Japan.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Anything else? Or is movies the extent?
Yeah.
I go permanent on my job tomorrow.
Woo.
Which will be
Woo.
nice. Which means Lyft is so close to being done.
Hooray.
I don't know if I'm gonna need my first paycheck or not for that.
So when you get to quit Lyft, do you just like go to Stanley Lake, get on the boat ramp, like soak your car in gasoline, hit neutral, and like throw a Molotov in it? as
No,
it
I'm
rolls
going.
into the
No,
lake?
I'm going to return the car so that I should be able to get my $250 deposit back.
Wait, so if you don't return the car, you get a car for $250?
No.
Because that seems
Just don't
like
get
a
your deposit
deal.
back.
Yeah. No, I just at a minimum is $250.
So if you return a charred husk, they only charge you $250 deposit.
Yeah.
Like you just roll up with like the frame still smoldering, and you're like, I guess I'm not getting my deposit back. I didn't know what the
No, the $250 is technically for your last like week of work. If you don't make enough money to cover it, quote unquote, then they take it out of that. So no, it doesn't actually. Yeah.
Can you like drive at full speed towards the return and then just tuck and roll? Like
Just let it.
throw the keys to them.
Your car's drifting through the center of South Broadway and 8th right now.
You can't do that.
Headed
Well, I
towards
did,
Spear.
so-
Well, I did.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
if you want it, it's there.
Yes.
Damn it, man.
Can't make jokes from that comedian anymore.
No.
He's going on tour again.
Yeah, he is.
No.
Louis C.K.
Louis C.K.
Oh, I didn't really watch his stuff beforehand, so I didn't
I
catch the
loved
reference.
him.
Yeah.
I was wounded by this.
I bet you were less wounded than some people.
Correct.
Yes.
All I lost was my fandom.
So to wrap this portion of things up, because I think that's enough banter, is there a bloody minute, Jeff?
Nope.
No
I play
bloody minute.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Championship.
Championship.
All right. So next week's bloody minute will be
Did I talk
For the
about my
marbles.
game?
Ant talked about it.
Ant talked about
Ant
it?
talked
Okay.
about it,
I won
Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
which is why you're in the championship.
and took some damage. My strength 5, Saurus, and Skink are miss next game.
You know what you could do? You could just cheat and just be like, no, they're good. They're just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, like I cheated against Ant all the time. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll just get away with it one more time.
Awesome. And is there Kingdom Death scheduled yet?
Next week.
Next week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next Sunday?
Yes.
Like a week from today.
Yes.
So next episode we'll have a Kingdom Death hour
Yes.
and a Blood Bowl championship report.
Exactly.
Correct.
I
So don't
wonder
play any
I wonder
games.
if I can move my flight up a few days.
I'm
on
sure
the-
that wouldn't cost anything.
Sleep on the streets.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, with that, let's move over to some news and Kickstarters. News and Kickstarters.
First up in news this week, Asmodee has once again got on that purchase train and has bought Repos Production, the wonderful people behind Just One, Seven Wonders,
Wow. They're buying everybody.
Cash and Guns. I don't think I've ever played Cash and Guns.
I have.
Yeah.
You
Do you
point
need-
guns
do-
at people.
Do you need to play Cash and Guns ever again?
No, I don't know. I might do it, but I think I sold my copy or gave away my copy.
All right.
So
So yeah, I thought that they had some relationship with them, like international distribution or something like that. But I think they're just full on purchase of these guys now. So it'll be yet another large board game publisher under the umbrella of Asmodee.
Yeah, they kind of just take everything over, don't they?
They sure do. And then whatever holding company just keeps handing it off and selling it for more and more money each time.
Dude, no kidding. Jesus.
I mean, that's just what you do. That's what companies do, Adrian. Various all those different industries. It's like, oh well, they're all together now.
Until they gut them for everything they're worth.
Yeah.
Hooray, venture capitalism.
Woo.
Fucking
But the
So there's not
the
much
free market, Adrian.
isn't very free.
There's not a whole lot here besides that it's just going to be, here's another one that's going to be under Asmodee.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people that are going into certain positions that I'm sure people that care more will
So
be able to easily find out.
logical outcome of a fruitful collaboration that has been going on for many years.
That would
they
be
said
it.
in
Yeah.
a statement.
Yeah.
So
It's like, you know how we help you with things? Why don't you just be us now?
yes. Right on. So yeah, Asmodee continues to buy things.
Yep.
Right now it's Repos. Tomorrow it's you.
Yeah, whatever.
It's fine. I mean, I'm fine with money. I don't.
I
I like money.
I mean, for the amount they're probably paying for these things.
Yeah, they didn't have a dollar amount on this, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it was an amount.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm definitely sure they could give us enough money to be like, we are the Asmodee podcast.
We are the Asmodee game guys.
Not that they don't already have like how many podcasts that I'm
Exactly.
sure under all of these different publishing companies.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, next up on news.
But maybe they're not 3 white dudes. Maybe they need some white dudes.
Maybe they need some white dudes.
Next up on news, speaking of snow, we have The Shining is getting a board game release from the wonderful people that came to you with Jaws, Horrified, Villainous, Choose Your Own Adventure, and Kenny G keeping it sexy.
One of these things is not like the other.
These kids is Robot Chicken. They're just stuck in my mind.
So it's going to be a 3 to 5 player, 45, 60-minute game. Not a whole lot of details on here, but it is a co-op and deception game.
Yes.
one of you slowly going insane. Like, can I be the person that just gets drunk at the bar?
To his invisible friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says here, that you've traveled to the Rocky Mountains to take care of the Overlook. The history has Bloody History has made some of its past guests permanent additions. Snowed in, you desperately explore the rooms of the hotel, attempting to gain enough willpower to withstand the evil influence around you. Worse still, one of you has already succumbed to the terrible forces of the hotel and secretly acts to keep you here forever and ever.
All right. Well,
So-
And
I don't.
ever.
I don't trust the person with the
Come
axe.
and play with us.
I think the axe person is probably not. Or the one that's throwing the ball a lot. Yeah.
Just occasionally go over, glance over people's shoulders, and see what they're typing
Yeah.
as they're writing a book. If it's
Just to verify.
Just to verify.
Trust.
just
But verify.
Like at least 2 different sentences. That's what we're looking for.
yes. So
And that's how he got around it. He had a lot of different formatting.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so,
Yeah.
the top comment on this BGG thread is gold. What are board game designers of the future going to do now that we've stopped making good movies?
We make remakes of the board games.
Yeah,
Make games based off bad movies,
also true.
which has probably happened already.
Almost certainly. Last up on news.
Last about news, there's a new Cosmic Encounter coming out, but not the kind that you're thinking of.
Sorry, I just threw my mouth a little.
That's your safe word.
Yeah.
Cosmic Encounter Duel. I've never played Cosmic Encounter just because everyone
It's
around
bad.
me seems to be like, this game is terrible or it's great, and the people I know more say it's bad. So
It's very fragile. I think is the word that someone described
Yes.
it. Described the game like that. I've played one that I was like, okay, that was fine. And then I played another one and I was like, I didn't like that at all.
So, Jeff, you know how I don't like games?
yes,
Where-
I know how you. Yeah, period.
Period.
Yep.
Period. Just, this is a game. Cosmic Encounter is a game,
Yeah,
Jeff.
yeah.
So I don't like it.
That was the first mistake they
Yeah.
made.
Made a game.
But although I don't like games, I especially don't like games where it takes the syndrome approach to player powers, where when everyone's super, no one is, and everyone's powers are wildly unbalanced, and you have to balance them yourselves in game, and that's the game. This is what started that. This is the pinnacle of that
Yeah.
style of design.
Was this one of the first Kickstarters?
No.
Am I
You're thinking of Alien Frontiers.
That's what I'm thinking of.
No, this is a game from like the 70s.
Yeah, I was thinking of an old game, and that's why I was thinking of Alien Frontiers.
Gotcha.
But anyway, Cosmic Encounter Duel, what the news is about, is a one-on-one duel version of Cosmic Encounter.
Duel.
Competitive standalone game for 2 players, where you and your closest frenemy race to be the first to control 5 planets.
Which it's like the people I know that love this game, they say like the main appeal of it is all the negotiations and the backstabbing and like the fact that multiple people can win. And so it just seems weird taking all of that out and just becoming a one-on-one.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll be a good game now.
I doubt it.
By becoming a different game? Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
yes, exactly.
Okay.
And it's Jeopardy font.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That just looks like they have a playmat board kind of thing.
Yeah.
It looks like the intro to Jeopardy for some reason.
Yeah, I don't get it at all. Like I feel like it's going to lose the one thing that people like you said, that people who like it like about it. So I don't know who they're designing this for. I don't know who would want a 2-player version of Cosmic Encounter. I'm pretty sure that I am not going to like Cosmic Encounter Duel just as much as I do not like Cosmic Encounter. So, yeah.
Have they said what kind of price this game would be?
I did not see.
I'm going to say
maybe
it's
down
going to be
here at the end.
$40 with
That's
a $30 playmat.
That seems right.
Did you click on the links at the bottom to
I-
pre-order them?
I sure did.
Cool.
I got to put my credit card number in now.
Well, since I'm here,
Yeah. You have no choice on the matter.
Yeah, I clicked the pre-order button. I don't want to disappoint anyone.
Yeah, you can't just not pre-order something, Jeff.
yeah,
Come on.
like somebody got an alert on their phone, like somebody's pre-ordering. Somebody's pre-ordering.
Someone looked
Yeah.
at it.
How could someone do that? Just get on the internet and not pre-order a game.
Anyway,
Speaking of pre-orders,
yeah, we can move on to some Kickstarter now that we're done with
Yes.
news.
And we didn't have many Kickstarters before.
No,
That's because people were waiting for all of these
Apparently
to come
now.
out.
to
Yeah.
release on the same day.
Yeah.
so
So much so that there was an article about like, hey, these 3 Kickstarters came out and made $2 million in a day.
And then one of them that we're going to talk about made more than one of them that was on there.
Yeah.
First up on Kickstarter this week, we have Star Realms Deluxe Nova Collection. which I keep calling Star Realms Nova, and that keeps not coming up on Google because that's not what it is.
No, it's not.
It is very well funded, $430,000, almost 4,500 backers, and a little over a week left to pledge this one, which you can for its most popular pledge being $100.
This $15 game, by the way.
This $15 card game that I love.
Yes, has grown into a behemoth.
And I want to say multiple times you have been like, well, I have everything, but those...
And it's sleeved, and I have the ultimate box. I have everything.
But those foil cards, though.
Those foil cards look real nice.
They do look really nice. So tell us what this makes this special.
So it's a 1 to 6 player version. I assume it just comes with enough to be able to play 6, because a lot of the scenarios, which we've played like once, you can do like co-op versus like the Nemesis Beast or like the Pirate Fleet or something like that. Because this is everything that came out before Colony Wars. Colony Wars, I assume, will be the one that they foil next year. But in this one, you get a game box, a board to play Star Realms on, over 250 foil cards, the challenge boards, score dials, dividers, 1 foam block.
That's all you need, Jeff.
That's all you need.
You greedy son of a bitch, always wanting more than 1 foam block.
You're supposed to take a really fine knife and just shave it into as many foam pieces as you need.
This is the foam economy now.
It's like a block of cheese.
Yeah.
You go get yourself a Julian slicer.
So what this is they are taking that entire first act of Star Realms and making all of the cards foil, including the expansions.
Hot damn.
There is a preview of the foil. The foil looks real good. But the score dials I like, because I've been using an app for a long time. Their original score cards sucked.
Yeah.
Their second scorecard system was better, but these
still
dials
wasn't great,
are significantly better, and they have all the wonderful art.
But would you still use them over the app? The app's real nice.
The app is nice, yeah. Yeah, and that's just what it is. It comes with a box, and it comes with all of these things.
And a lot of empty space in that box.
Yeah, for dials, and it's just enough space for the main game and all of its stuff. Where was the expansion lists? If anyone doesn't remember what Star Realms is, they list all of it. So the event deck, the hero deck, the Gambit deck, and that's it. So the first 3 expansions and the core set.
It's a lot of stuff.
And foil.
A lot of foil.
I really like Star Realms.
Uh-huh.
I don't own any Star Realms.
Uh-huh.
And those foil cards do look real
They do look
fucking
real
nice.
good.
They look real nice.
They look real nice.
Yeah. But I own everything, and it's all sleeved. The box, the ultimate collection box that I have, comes with plenty of pieces of foam, and the foam fits real nice. But I mean, I don't need to spend $100 on a $15 card game.
But the foam.
The foam, Jeff.
Yeah.
The foam block.
You're gonna have FOMO.
Yeah.
I hate it.
So yeah, this is Star Realms Deluxe Nova Edition.
Yeah.
It's
Add-ons for all their other shit.
Yeah, they have all the Kickstarter exclusive add-ons on here for all the other Kickstarters they've done. So if you have missed any Kickstarter exclusive add-ons for Hero Realms or Star Realms, this is a way to get it. They have like the Lost Fleet and some promo packs and stuff on there that I have, of course.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's everything for Star Realms Deluxe Nova
Collection.
Got it.
Yeah.
Next one.
Next up, another one that I am really tired of seeing on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as the second thing on literally everything is Return to Dark Tower. It has made $2.6 million on a quite reasonable $850,000 goal.
Yeah.
Over 15,000 backers, still 2 weeks left to pledge this one. Its most popular pledge being $225.
Hot damn.
With a $150 base pledge.
So this is by Restoration Games.
Restoration
Yes.
Games.
The guys that did Fireball Island.
Yep.
Amongst other things.
Amongst other things. But I know that game, Fireball Island, and Dark Tower were like the 2 big ones that they everyone wanted them to do.
Was Fireball number 2, I think?
Somebody said that, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay.
Nobody. Somebody said that they had heard that.
Yeah.
It was not like I will not stake my name and reputation on that
Yeah.
being a true statement.
I mean,
Not a lot there,
Yeah.
but
I'm just saying.
least you said the words.
I'm probably just gonna save my money until the Mall Madness one comes out.
Yeah.
Then
Uh-huh.
I'm interested.
I'm in.
Return to Mall Madness.
Yes. Actually, there's a couple. Isn't there like a Bratz
Oh yeah, for
Mall
sure.
Madness game
Yes.
or
That's
something?
not what I'm talking about.
100%.
That's not.
I think they did
And-
read.
No, I know they have.
Anyway, Return to Dark Tower.
So it's
is-
redesigned by Rob Davio and Isaac Childress.
Yes.
This is not just a 1-to-1. Here's Dark Tower from 30 plus years ago.
correct.
Probably more than 40 plus years ago at this point. 39 years?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I saw the tower and the game being played at PAX Unplugged. And then Zach and I have played the old version.
Yes, we
Yes.
played that at
Gen
Gen
Con
Con,
last year.
which was very much not even roll and move. It was like push a button, and then it sort of was like, hey,
Push a button that tells you where you moved.
yes,
Because you either are next to one of the 4 buildings, or you crossed a barrier between one of the 4 quadrants, or that's about it.
well, and then you start your turn, and you're like, you hit the button, and it's like, hey, you got into a fight, and you won, or you lost, or you met with a wizard, and you skipped your turn.
Yeah. Or you got the plague.
Yeah.
God damn it. Goddamn plague. So it's a 1 to 4 player cooperative game. It has
Which
this.
the original one wasn't. Just wanted to say that.
Yeah, there wasn't much. You didn't really compete against each other, but it was a race.
Yes, it was a race.
Yeah. You wanted
Who
to
could
go,
random the quickest?
It's not a roll and move, however.
No.
But like you could get things like you get a Pegasus. You just get to move wherever the hell you want.
Great.
And then you forget to tell it that you crossed a barrier, and you're like, why aren't I getting the relic in the next area? So this has a new tower, and it will be app based.
yes.
One of the first things people were huffy about this is like, oh, what if you guys stop supporting the app? I guess they're going to release the source code for the app if they ever want to stop supporting it, so people can get the source code and do whatever the hell they want with the app.
Yeah.
But in this, it's pretty similar layout. You are 4 kingdoms. It seems like they have the 4 main buildings, it looks like, still in each kingdom. There's a lot less spaces on the board.
So, there were so many spaces.
Yeah,
Oh.
it just took a long time. So it seems like this will thin it out a little bit. The tower is completely different. The old tower used to have these like little backlit art plastic things that would tell you like warriors and what you were fighting, and then like a little LED like alarm clock numbering thing on there, and then a keypad that would tell you like merchant, go, interact this, blah blah blah. And the tower now seems like it's more of just a timer where the app will take over for all of that like fighting and stat tracking and things like that, because the tower kept track of how many units and stuff that you had, but you did have like a little pegboard in front of you that you could back up like your data, I guess,
Yes,
if something got off. But you're going to be putting like skulls into the tower that as you play, there's doors on the side of the tower that will open up and dump skulls or corruption into your area. And if you get too much corruption, it will hurt like your events that you'll have at buildings. It'll affect how monsters spawn. It'll affect how, like if you get like 4 corruption on a building, it just destroys the building.
And if you get 4 skulls, it destroys the building, and then you gain a corruption. Which
Yes,
the corruption
yeah.
looks like it's a little thing like the one they show here is selfish. You cannot trade with other heroes. Like, so they're like negative status.
Yes.
kind of thing.
In the previous game, there wasn't really any individual player powers or anything like that. There wasn't more than one monster.
Yeah.
Because that's all the tower had the picture for. In this, it looks like there's going to be a whole bunch of new monsters and stuff to interact with on the game board. You're going to have minis for your heroes, which I think there was minis before.
Yeah, but it was like 80s minis.
Yeah.
38 years ago, this
Yeah,
game came out.
yeah.
So some much nicer minis in this. The tower will also be sort of a timer. If someone's APing too much, the tower will just be like, all right, here's all the skulls in the tower. Enjoy that because you took too long.
What?
Yep.
There's no way.
Yes, that is 100% what is in there. They have an anatomy of the tower. This looks very expensive with how much stuff is in there. It's going to have various rotating drums that it seems like have like the various like combat and skulls and runes that you saw in the original Dark Tower, but in sort of a new, different version. The whole thing's LED lit. They have a bunch of add-ons that add in new heroes and more monsters from the Dark Horde. The monsters look cool. Definitely unique. Kind of Diablo-esque, I guess. They remind me of.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit.
Yeah. Of course, you can get a neoprene playmat. And
Of course you can.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I had purposely not been looking at this for a long time, but I'd heard, everybody's going nuts about it. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
I get it.
I mean, it's definitely something that I'd be like, oh, I definitely would want to try that.
Yeah.
Paul wants to know in chat, actually, who in Denver is getting this. We need to know who's taking the plunge.
Who's taking?
We already know Jeff's going to get like a whole bunch of foil cards from
White Wizard.
Yeah, from White Wizard. So he's out. I'm definitely getting Oath. So
I already Tainted Grail was mine. So
I think it's back to Paul.
Yeah, seems right.
It's been a long time since we forced Paul to do this.
But is he the one doing Oath, or is he?
I mean, he can do Oath also.
But Adrian's getting Oath, so he doesn't need to get Oath.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to get Oath, Paul. I'm getting Oath.
There you go.
But it seems that they've made Dark Tower into a gamier, more modern version of what it was.
Which, like Fireball Island felt like that, but it also was like
you're still just playing Fireball Island.
Yeah. The first time it dumps every single skull on me though, because I took like 10 seconds too long, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, you should be. Hey, yourself.
The fucking tower is ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah.
Backlit ruins, triple reduction gearboxes. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. They want that tower to last forever.
3 motors, 3 rotation drums, an infrared sensor.
I mean, that's kind of what the previous version had, except it also had like a keypad on how you control it.
16 individually addressable red LEDs. Oh.
And it seems like the app is going to have some sort of combat control system in there too, like how you attack
having
things.
control in your combat for Dark Tower. That feels weird.
Yeah, weird. I could only assume that the old game had some sort of hidden dice roll, or it was always just a percentage each time.
Yeah.
But I remember I had like 20 to 3, and it was just 15, 12 to 3, 8 to 3, 8 to 2, 7 to 1. Like, I was like, you sons of bitches. I spent so much money on warriors. And someone's rolling hot 20s on the enemy team.
At least you didn't get a plague. They just killed
everyone, half of them, all the time.
Yep.
And so I couldn't afford a doctor.
Yep.
Yeah, it was great. And then I figured out what the shrine did.
What are you even talking about anymore?
The old Dark Tower.
Old Dark Tower.
Yeah.
I started looking at the add-ons here and started tuning you guys out, and I was like, wait, what are they even still talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old Dark Tower was funnish.
Okay. Oh, God,
but
the
you couldn't really
minis are
tell what you
sweet.
wanted to do because it wasn't real clear what the buildings did. Like the market, you buy things. What does the Citadel do? What does the shrine do?
Hey, you can go there to sort of look for things.
The shrine was like, oh, you're doing bad? Here's just a bunch of free stuff. And I was like, God damn it.
Yep.
So that's D Tower, the return to the D Tower.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of stuff. Go check it out. Minis look real sweet. Getting back into D&D has made me reappreciate minis again.
That's good.
I really don't know how to feel about that.
It's a big business.
I mean, hey, you get to appreciate
of
you get to appreciate the minis without the games that the minis entail.
True. I can just admit that I only care about the minis and I don't give a shit about the game behind it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, last up on Kickstarters,
we have Oath, Chronicles of Empire and Exile. Another one that has done extremely well. $752,000 of its $50,000 goal. 89,000 backers and 2 weeks left to go, which you can pledge $90. And that's it. $90.
That's it.
No add-ons, no stretch goals.
No nothing.
Here's a game, and that's what you're going to get.
Yep.
For $90.
For $90. So Oath is the latest game from Leader Games and designer Cole Worley, who was also the designer of Root and PAX Pamir 2. It took me a second because there's so many fucking PAX games. Yeah, PAX Pamir 2nd edition. But Leader Games did Root, and then they did Vast and the Manor one. Vast the Underground Cavern and
Crystal Caverns.
Yep. And then the Manor House. Haunted Manor, something like that, yeah. With art by Kyle Farron, who did all the art for Root. So it's very Root-esque. But
as a spiritual sequel to Root.
Yes. And they described this an innovative strategy game for 1 to 6 players about remembering the history that would have been forgotten. So this is a really interesting game. It's not a Civilization game, but it's a game about Civilization. And it's not a legacy game, but it's a game that has a legacy. And I've read different things that use like all kinds of things like that, where they kind of like twist it back and forth.
There's no stickers or permanent damage or whatever to the game. It's
just permanent change, but each game's end state influences the setup of the next game. So at the very beginning, the very first time you pull the game out of the box and you play, you're all essentially outcasts. And then eventually somebody will win that game. And at the start of the next game, they will be the Chancellor and they will have founded a kingdom. And everybody else will still be like outcasts. Like they have a term for them, but I don't remember what it was. And you can become citizens of the kingdom. And so then you're kind of working to help the Chancellor win, but you get benefits for that. And you can eventually like split off and form other faction kingdoms, and kingdoms can rise and kingdoms can fall. And it's supposed to be this like long telling of like the story of civilizations in a world and how alliances can shift and move and things like that. They also stress that unlike a lot of legacy games where you really want to play it with the same people, this one is really good for having people drop in and drop out and then join later and be like, holy shit, the world has changed so much. And so yeah, it's interesting.
You win by being the Chancellor at the end of the game, still
Correct.
from your empire previously.
Yes.
And then you can like offer citizenship to exiles to get them to help you.
Exiles, that's the one.
Yes. But then the new citizens can fuck with the Chancellor more and try and get their empire up and threaten the Chancellor with their own secession.
Yeah. There's also like vision cards that are like kind of like separate winning conditions that'll give you something else you need to do to win. That's another way that exiles can win if they're not the Chancellor. The Chancellor can only win by keeping control of their empire. Yeah. I don't know. It looks really good. And a lot of gamers that I really respect their opinions on have been very enamored with this. I've been reading pretty much the only reviews I read anymore are from Space Biff.
Mm-hmm. He's great.
And he loves it. So Space Biff spoke very highly of it and did like a really good write-up that like took you through like 5 generations, like 5 games worth of play. And reading through it was just like, wow, this is like everything I've wanted from that kind of a game. Like I think it's still going to, and Root does to an extent have the kind of like player negotiation, which I like to an extent. I just don't like when a game is all that. And this seems like it will be a good balance, especially for a legacy game. This seems like something that like Seafall could have been, where like there is a better game under it to make a competitive legacy style game.
Gotcha.
And I love the idea that it's not a one-time playthrough. Like it's not a legacy game where you're going to be tearing up cards or marking up the board and play it, 12 to 24 times and then be done with it. Like that works for some games, and I don't hate legacy games. Obviously, like I've played several of them. We're still in one.
2.
I'm in 1.
You're in 2.
I'm in 2. That's
You're
right.
in 2.
Fucking, we gotta play some Betrayal.
Yes, we do.
I forgot about Betrayal. Yeah. So I'm really excited about this one. I also, and so much of it is just I loved Root. Like Root was great. I didn't like PAX as much, but I've only played it the once, and I didn't super love Root after one play either. So I think I just need to give it a little bit more love. I own it. It's sitting in there. So we'll see. Yeah.
How do you feel about the neoprene mat? Because I know.
So I do have some complaints about this game. That's a good thing to bring up. So the price point is high.
$90.
$90 plus shipping.
How much was Root?
I think Root was
pretty cheap, 50.
Yeah, something like that. Root was
and the reason I say that is especially on the Kickstarter, they're like, look how much more stuff you get than Root.
Yeah, so like they show like the box is significantly bigger for Oath.
Also, there's a fuckload of meeples in this.
Yeah, there's over 200 unique cards in Oath. There were only a little over 70 in Root. The neoprene mat versus the 6-fold board. 100 screen printed pieces in Oath versus 56 in Root. So like they show that, it's got a lot more stuff.
I do like the neoprene mat can fold up or roll up and fit into a box, where a larger board would probably be hard to get the box size smaller on Oath, where the actual like components are fairly small.
I mean, with Root at least, my Root even with an expansion, and now it's not going to with the second expansion, but like it's packed with a 6-fold board. So you can make boards that fit in a well-packed box.
Yeah.
And this one, the box is way bigger, so it's not like they don't have room for a board.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure I buy that as a
11. Let's say 11 centimeters longer.
Yes.
They have the box.
Yeah. 11 centimeters longer and 2.5 centimeters taller and 1 centimeter wider.
Yeah.
So yes, it is a much larger box.
Yeah. But I guess for how long the mat is, maybe it just wasn't easy to make a board that could be like
and
that.
Could be, but it is also a long, narrow.
And it's also one of those things, people like neoprene mats.
They are super popular right now. And
but I've seen people want, like, can I just get a board option?
I mean, I would have rather had a board and save $20. I'd rather there's been a $70 game.
And then they have to make the thought of like, well, then they need a different box for the one that can fit the board versus the one that can fit the mat. And then they have to have 2 different production versions. And so now...
Or anybody who wants a mat is, like, most people who want mats do fancy things with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Not like most of the mats for most board games even fits in a box anyways. But this one fits in the box. They designed it around the mat.
This one fits in a box. A lot of them don't.
What's in the box? A neoprene mat.
I would rather save the money. Neoprene mat does very little to add to my enjoyment of the game. So,
but how much is the cost of a board versus the cost of a mat? It's more, but they don't have to worry about making a board at this point.
Yeah,
so how much
mat add-ons are regularly like $25 to $30. I assume that's what a mat
How
runs.
much would a board add-on be though?
$5.
$5?
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
I'll ask.
Just go up to random. How much is a board?
The 1867 Kickstarter guide recently did a blog post where he was talking about expenses, and for folded boards, they were $1 to $2 per board. For no fold boards, they were under $1 a board manufacturing costs. And rule of thumb in board gaming is you charge 5 times manufacturing cost.
Yeah.
So $5 for a non-foldy board, $10 for a foldy board. Compared to a $25 to $30 neoprene mat, that still saves me $15 to $20, which is a 6-pack of beer.
Yeah.
Which is
gone after a day.
How you drink.
It depends on the day, sir. I have not had a 6-pack day in a while.
I'm still on the side of like they only had to design.
Sorry, I only see you for like a couple hours at a time, and
there's an unopened.
Oh, okay.
Unopened. There is a mostly empty. I'm not going to tip it over because inevitably like 2 drips will come out, and then there's an over half full. So I've had a beer and a half in the last 2
But he brought
hours.
3, so he was expecting to at least drink 3.
I was stressed at the start of this stream, sir.
I'm still on the side of where it's probably they saved money in some fashion by not having to make 2 different board designs.
Yes, probably.
Yeah.
It probably made
but
the
they have
mats
gone with
cheaper
the one that,
to do the mats as the full production run rather than a add-on.
And they're going to make more money by making everyone.
They're going to make a lot more money.
Yes. Oh yeah, just like what was it, Raiders?
Everybody except the customer is going to come out ahead
Yeah.
on the neoprene mat conversation.
The customers that don't want the neoprene mat. Because the people that would want the neoprene mat, they don't have to spend.
So I'm subsidizing somebody else?
Yeah.
That's socialism.
Also, these 8,938 other backers.
Yeah. It's a minor complaint of mine, mostly
That's
because
fine.
very few games have I felt a neoprene mat added much to my enjoyment. Legacy, Alien, Legendary Encounters Alien.
Which they all come with.
And then I did get, it was given to me. I didn't spend any money on it, and I never would. But I do really like having the neoprene mat for herbalism. So 2 neoprene
Well, and
mats.
I like ones where the Champions of Midgard one I have that combines everything into one when it's normally like multiple expansion boards.
Yeah.
Those are nice. So,
yeah, that's true. Midgard
yeah, that's
champions.
Yes,
Champions of Midgard.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yes.
I
That's a
bought-
good example.
I bought a Legendary Encounters Predator board that has had no art on it
You did.
because I, in general, don't like the art in Legendary Encounters.
That's fair.
It's
That's
Extremely inconsistent.
yes,
wildly.
There are some
Wildly.
all the wounds and people dying. Those things usually look great.
Yeah.
It's the just like normal people. They're
So,
like,
I mean-
yeah, fuck it. People don't care.
The less I have to look at that art on a board, the better.
So,
I think there was another complaint of the original board they had on their Kickstarter had no art on it. It was just white. And then they updated it with like,
well, it had art except for everywhere the cards were supposed to go, and those were just like white spots. Whereas, like, you're gonna put cards here, so why should we put art there? And people fucking lost their shit.
they were like, why am I buying a big white neoprene mat?
Yeah, and so they were like, all right, we'll go back to the drawing board, literally. And
Sure.
the artist like filled in the boxes,
And
which I'm sure it was something where he did the whole thing, and then they just, Photoshop cut out the
he just
card
Control
sizes.
Z'd like
Yeah.
6 times. And
Exactly. So,
Guys, it took a while, but we were able to figure out a way.
all right, I hate to do this to you, but I got to bill you for, like 80 hours of work.
it's like, that took like 500 hours.
It was 1 hour each Control
Yeah,
Z,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Can't buy that whiskey anywhere.
No.
Yeah. But yeah.
Oath.
Chronicles of Empire and Exile.
That's it for Kickstarters.
Indeed. So that brings us over to some listener feedback. There were no emails, though, I don't believe. Were there, Jeff?
There were not.
So long and no emails.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. There were, however, I believe a YouTube I thought I saw.
Yes.
There's one comment on episode 174, Cul-de-sac. Paulo from Paulo's Corner comments, ha ha ha, accommodations in Porto are guaranteed. For Hexacon, you have to take care of yourselves. I can get you there from Porto, but that's it, you freeloaders. So, it's actually funny. Just today on my work computer, the background login screen that changes, with Windows every time was a really awesome photo of Porto on the
Gotcha.
river. And I was like, Porto, that's where Paulo lives, and I would like to go sometime. And then that was the extent of that experience. So
Great.
it was a riveting day at work today.
Nice. I was on the edge of my seat.
Riveting.
But yeah, that's it for YouTube stuff. No BGG responses either.
I mean,
Zach?
there is, but it was for a stream that didn't happen.
People were excited about us wanting to do Marvel Champions.
Yes.
And then we didn't do Marvel Champions.
Yeah.
Marvel Champions will be in 2 weeks when I am gone.
Yes.
There will be at least one game of Marvel Champions.
We're just going to be here like Monday through Friday meeting up to play Marvel
Yeah,
Champions.
yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yep.
I'm sure the fans would be too.
Get fog of love. Yeah, just be like daily streams of just games we actually want to play.
If I'd known you were going to do that, I wouldn't have lined up somebody to watch Jester. I'd have been like, all right, guys, just feed her when you come over and then play games all day.
Let her loose.
No, that's why we waited to tell you.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Good choice.
Right on. Well, in that case, I think that wraps up all of listener feedback. Thank you, Paulo, for being the sole contributor to listener feedback at this time, and all of you who wrote in for the stream that didn't happen.
Yeah,
that's on us. That's on me. That's on. I'll take it. I won't. I was gonna be like, it's on Megan because she said they couldn't come stream, but I won't go there.
Blame Leander because he's the DM and he's the.
There you go. It's MHDD's fault.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
Hopefully
you guys brought in a lot of money with the expense.
Hey, who can say?
Apparently not him.
Yeah, apparently not a third of the business partners.
Anyway, that wraps up listener feedback. If you would like to get a hold of us, there are numerous ways to do so. You can send us an email.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can follow us over on Twitter, where I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
I am Jeff_MHGG.
We also have an Instagram account at MHGameGuys.
Yes.
Jeff does photos and stuff over there.
I still need to put up last week's game night.
Yes.
I'm deciding if I want to do like individual posts or like a 10 picture post for like one game night.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know Instagram.
We're going to leave it up to you.
Somebody who understands Instagram, send Jeff an email about how to manage our Instagram properly.
I can just message Jake.
There you go.
There you go.
There's a lot of cat pictures on there.
I'm sure.
It's a very cute cat.
Do you need to borrow, do I need to start sending you Jester pictures?
No.
And so you can upload Jester pictures?
I can send you cat pics. It's fine.
That's
Yeah,
also true.
I can get
Yeah.
cat pictures from Zach.
Yeah.
Your roommates have cats, I believe.
Cats, yes.
Cat, yes. Okay. Other ways you can get a hold of us, we have a Facebook page, facebook.com/MHGameGuys. You can follow us over there. We also have our website, milehighgameguys.com, where there are episode posts with links to all of the
Yeah, continue.
to all of the different things we talk about, like the news and Kickstarter items, things of that nature. There's a link on there to the BGG Guild number 2731, where Zach does episode posts for all of the episodes that we're going to do, and even maybe occasionally one we don't do. You know, sometimes you get a bonus post on BGG, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
We just keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
Are we going to be there? Are we not?
Last but not least, you can follow and or subscribe to us over on Twitch, twitch.tv/MHGameGuys, where Paul would like you to know you can talk in the Twitch chat if you want to be ignored. But by acknowledging that, he's not being ignored anymore, which makes that a false statement. So Paul is continuing to lie to you.
As is tradition.
So that wraps up all of the different ways that you can get a hold of us and follow us. I should say over on Twitch, we do Sunday night streams.
Yes.
Of the Wednesday recording. So behind the scenes look at our podcast recording. Fridays, we do board game streams except for that one time, which was the most recent time.
Mm-hmm.
And every other Tuesday is Mile High Dungeon Delvers, which might be moving to every other Saturday in the near future. So we'll see. Discussions are being had. I'm trying to decide if I really want to stream Friday night, work 12 hours Saturday, stream Saturday night, work 12 hours Sunday, stream Sunday night, in exchange for having Monday through Wednesday off with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's...
I mean, I know my dad worked for like 6 months, did 3 13s, and the fourth day was always recovery from those first 3 days. So
yeah. So we'll see. We'll keep you abreast of that change. But for now, every other Tuesday is Mile High Dungeon Delvers on our Twitch channel. So that wraps up all the different ways to get a hold of us. As always, on these Wednesday streams, we would like to take a second to thank our sponsors, Gray Fox Games. We didn't get to cover their Kickstarter for Tortuga 2191?
21.99.
99.
8 years off. You're closer than you were last. Yes.
21.99. Tortuga 21.99. It launches on Kickstarter on Tuesday. Unfortunately, we have already recorded on Sunday, so we'll talk about it more in depth during the Kickstarter segment next week. But what I can tell you is that it is a space piratey deck building game where you can exert influence in order to control sections of the map while hunting down unknown beasts in space and doing combat with them and with each other. To build your deck, you're going to hire crew. And different sectors have different crews available for purchase. So by having control in one sector of the board, that will influence what cards you can get put into your deck. The art, as they've been releasing all over the place on their social media, is actually looking fantastic. And the ship minis are supposedly awesome. And it's a little fast, fun, deck building space battle area control game. So
Space Pirates.
Space Pirates. Jinx.
You're the captain now.
But we will have more information about that and the Kickstarter specifically next week during the Kickstarter segment. With that, Jeff, do you have a prepared statement?
Yes, I do. Gray Fox Games, quality games, cleverly crafted. Also, scholars tell us that the first spy in history was the snake in the book of Genesis.
Spies are snakes.
Yeah.
Sneaky snakes.
What was that song at the end of the Bad Boys for Life where it was something about snake? Martin Lawrence was singing it.
Oh, I don't
I
remember.
don't know either. Sneaky snake, snaky snake. I don't know.
I mean, there's an old YouTube video that was, I'm a snake.
Yeah, I remember
I
that.
very much doubt it was that.
I don't think they were referencing that one.
You sure Martin Lawrence wasn't doing?
No.
His arms were like not in a snake pattern. So
No. Mr. Snake.
Mr. Snake no here.
Mr. Snake no here.
Right on. That wraps up tonight's episode. Thank you all for watching over on Twitch. Thank you everybody who's listening to this in its podcast form. Thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon. Thank you for all of our subscribers and followers on all of our social media, or YouTube, Twitch, whatever. We really appreciate all of you. You're the reason we do all of this and have all of this stuff to do it with. So thank you all very, very much. As always, I am your host, Adrian.
And I am still Zach.
And I'm Vibranium Jeff.
Bye.
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 Punchboard Media,
where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.